What is family coaching and how can it help neurodiverse families? My name is Marlene and I'm the founder of Olive Tree Neurodiversity, a network of specialist teachers who, like me, raised their own neurodiverse child and/or worked extensively in schools with neurodiverse children and families. Now, we have pulled together our various areas of specialism to develop a coaching program that can help families navigate through the difficulties that sometimes come with raising a neurodiverse child. We believe that you are a good and caring parent, but that you may be at a loss for how to help your child, or children for that matter, as we know that it doesn't just affect one child, it affects the whole family. It may be very hard for siblings to understand why there's one rule for one child and another rule for them. Or if you're a neurotypical parent, it may be very hard for you to understand the struggles that your child is going through. Or, on the other hand, if you are a neurodiverse parent, you may have that internal conflict between parenting and understanding what your child is going through, as you're still struggling with very similar difficulties. So within this coaching program, the first topic that we will explore is understanding your child's unique profile. No two people with ADHD, ASD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, no two people have the same needs. And therefore it's helpful to explore both your child's strengths and their difficulties, as building on their strengths can very much help to compensate for their weaker areas. In the first session, we'll also look at what executive functioning is and how your child's profile can impact their day-to-day activities and their learning. And then we'll spend a bit of time on going through acceptance. Now, acceptance may look different for different people, but for Christian families, we do offer a Bible study to help you to work through this and through some of the questions that you may have. The second topic that we will explore is filling your own cup. Now, I know that sounds like a massive cliche, but you simply cannot pour from an empty cup. It's a fact. And that's why we devote the second session to brainstorming ideas about how you can look after your own well-being, especially at times when there's no respite, when your personal circumstances just doesn't allow it. Now, you may have seen our animation on well-nourished roots makes the tree flourish. That refers to your own values and affirming your own values, as it is so important to know where you can draw your strength from when things are at its most difficult. Also within this topic, we will talk about getting on the same page with the people that you share your parenting responsibility with, or carers that give you respite from time to time. So it's very important for people to have consistency, and it's about how you can create that with consistency within your network. And then we will also look at goal setting, as it's really helpful to get from where you are at to where you really want to be as a parent. Step 3 is about emotional intelligence. To help your child to regulate their emotions, it is important that you have a really strong hold on your own emotions. And sometimes the way that we react to our children reflect more of what's going on in ourselves than to be actually helpful in helping your child to regulate their emotions when they haven't developed the executive functionings of self-control and impulse control and emotional regulation themselves. So we'll be looking at correctly identifying and labeling emotions, judging emotions, looking at the basic emotional needs we have, and then what happens during sensory overload and meltdowns, and very importantly, identifying the triggers. Firstly, identifying your own triggers so that you can preempt them, so that you can be aware of them, and that you can then manage them so that your emotions doesn't manage you. And then also identifying the triggers in your child. And then it's all about deconstructing those emotions and how you can manage them. Step 4 is all about communication. Now this really builds on what you've been learning in week 3 on emotional intelligence, just a continuation of that, but it really focuses on communicating this to your child and also helping your child to communicate their emotions with you. So we'll be looking at proactive and preventative behavior strategies, things like the 5-point scale, connection over correction, why that can be helpful, going into strategies for when your child is experiencing sensory overload, that power battle, and then looking at things like the PALM or the STOP method, where pause, assess, label, model, and then also problem solving between siblings, communication between siblings. So throughout the program, we are constantly discussing executive functions, and we'll be dealing with different areas of executive functions. But one of the key areas that can cause difficulties in neurodiverse people is organization, planning, and structure. And also as a parent, if you're a neurodiverse parent yourself, that could be a very difficult thing to do. How do you create a structure in your house and when you are struggling building your own routines? So step 5 is all about giving you that support and helping you to understand why it's important to have these things. When you internally, when your executive functions doesn't work, why do you need to make this external? That can just give you that visual reminder and that visual structure that you need within the home for yourself and for your children. And will also help you to understand why giving notice and predictability and consistency can be so important. But we won't just, give you the theory and then leave you. Part of the coaching thing is that we're there to help and to support you. So we'll be doing these things with you, and we'll really find something that works for you, that you can see yourself actually sticking to, and we'll give you that support of when you're trying to implement it, not to lose courage and to fall back onto things. So that's part of having a coach and having somebody that can keep you accountable and that can actually go that extra mile to help you with these things and putting it in place if you were a parent who are struggling with it yourself. In step 6, we'll explore a safe space for everyone. The home is supposed to be the safe space where you can let your guard down, where you can be yourself. So we'll be looking at creating that safe space so that children can have that opportunity to offload, that they have the opportunity for alone time when they need alone time. But this doesn't just involve the neurodiverse child, this involves the whole family, because everybody needs that. Every person in the family needs that safe space. Mummy needs a bit of a safe space as well, so that she can fill her own cup. Daddy needs a safe space. Siblings need a safe space. Everybody needs a safe space. So we'll be looking at different strategies, how you can create that. Physical spaces, as well as emotional spaces, setting boundaries, and then also just helping your children to feel heard, involve them in planning, and how you can just make them feel that this is a place where they are supported, where they can be themselves, where they are allowed to have their difficulties, but where there's respect. And this is it. This is all about that respect. And as I said, creating a safe space for everyone. After the initial 6 steps, you as a parent may feel that you just need a little bit of time to process everything because it's a lot to take in. And that's why for step 7 and 8, we suggest starting to work with the children. But before we do that, we will have a meeting with you to discuss the needs and to look at the topics that you would like us to work through with your children. We suggest starting with the siblings, because for them it may be just as difficult to understand their siblings' needs, especially if they're already feeling a bit of a grudge why you're treating them different to their sibling, and helping them to build that compassion. So we'll also go through things like emotional intelligence with them. Very often, especially girls, but it does happen to boys as well, but when you have a sibling that can see, when they can see that you as a parent have a lot of difficulty and all your attention goes into one of the children, they may feel that they don't want to burden you with their difficulties, that they don't want to make things worse for you, so they'll just keep it all in. And that's why it's so important that we work with them as well, so that they, and often, you know, it's best to work with them alone, so we can talk to them about why it's important that they don't just hold that in, because that will just turn them into codependence, where they will feel all of that responsibility on themselves and don't actually look after their own needs. But that can create problems of its own, and we want to prevent that. So that's why we think, you know, working with the siblings first. If there are no siblings and you want to work with the child directly, your neurodiverse child, we can do that if they are ready and open for it. Again, you know, we don't want to push coaching onto children if they don't understand what it is about, and if they're not ready for it, if they really don't know how to deal with it. So we will always have that meeting with you and talk to you about it and discuss the ways forward. And support definitely doesn't stop there. When we finished week 7 and week 8, you will have opportunity for continued support. And we have various options for that. You can either enroll into a group membership program where you can be part of a little community of other parents experiencing similar difficulties to yours, and you can discuss and share ideas. And then once a month we have a coaching call, a group coaching call, or if you want to do a personal coaching call, we have personal packages. But there are so many other topics that we still want to and need to explore. So for example, preparing your child for big transitions. Or things like, you know, especially when they're moving into different phases, when they're moving from primary school to secondary school, from secondary to sixth form, or just restarting the term after the summer, or even just preparing for the summer, because we know that the smallest bit of changes in routine can upset our child and can cause difficulties all over again. We can also explore topics on developing resilience, not just for your child. Yes, we can help your child build some resilience, but what about if you as a parent feel judged? That can be quite a difficult thing to go through. So we can explore that in a coaching session. Your child may have difficulties building positive friendships, so that could be another topic. Or supporting with homework and communicating with teachers. And then a very sensitive one, neurodiversity and puberty. Because when hormones kick in, it becomes a whole new ballgame. And the needs and things change. If you think you've known your child, I've got a surprise for you. Things are going to change. So we want to give you that support when that happens as well. Also, different executive functions, different needs, study skills, all those kind of things. The list is endless. And all we're saying is we don't want the support to end here. We still want you to be part of this. And we offer various programs that you can sign up for, whether group programs or one-to-one programs. So please just get in touch, have a look at our website, sign up. And we will, if you subscribe, you will be informed about webinars and workshops and things on these that goes on all the time, that you can dip in and out of as well as you need to. For more information on our program, visit our website, it's olivetree-neurodiversity.com, where you will find more information on how you can sign up for our coaching program.